Hello.
Good evening.
Welcome to Testimony Tuesday.
Yes.
We are excited to share the goodness of the Lord.
Oh.
And we have a super special guest with us on tonight.
Extra
special guest with us on tonight. So I'm super excited to have her. And so we're gonna jump right in. And so Testimony Tuesday is based off of Revelations 12, 10, and 11. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. And so that is the basis of Testimony Tuesday. And we have it just to share that God is still God. He is still working miracles despite what you see, despite what you hear. Yeah. God is really still doing it.
Yes.
And so we are excited to talk about that on tonight, on every Tuesday.
Yes, because he is the same God today, yesterday, and forevermore.
Forevermore.
Yep.
So if he did it back then.
Yes.
He'll do it today.
Yes.
And so we are super excited. So we have a super special guest, my mother.
Yes.
I think she is the most nervous guest we have ever had. Most of our guests, we have. But I'm telling you what, I have been begging her to be on Testimony Tuesday for a long time. And so when I said something to her this time, I literally had to say it like, you're going to be on Testimony Tuesday. Like it's not an option.
Yeah, kind of like voluntold.
Huh? Voluntold, because she kept coming up with excuses to say why she couldn't do it or why she wasn't ready. All of these excuses.
Wow, guess what? She's got a story.
She has got a story
to tell.
And so I'm so excited. I feel like my mom has been through so much.
Yeah.
And so I'm even going. So we had decided that we were going to talk about her battle with cancer. We were going to talk about that and how she overcame. But years prior to that, it's
kind of like pick one.
Right.
She's got a story. Yes. A story inside the story.
The story inside the story. Yes. So I'm going to actually, Mama, and I'm going to help you, okay? So I'm going to take her back all the way to 2006. And I'm going to start this story off. But all I remember was her calling me on the phone saying, Ayana, I think Raymond is dead. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And I jump up and we have the kids. And so I'm telling you, take the kids to your mom's house and then you come, but I'm going to go on and I have to go pick Aneka up. And so Tasha lives out of town and maybe I called her. I don't know if you called her, I called her. But anyway, I get to the road. Like I literally don't know what has happened. I don't know anything, but I remember getting to the end of Allison Cooper Road and making a left, and there's a sheriff's car there stopping me. And I'm saying, sir, please, it's my stepfather. And so I don't know what has happened. And now I'm shocked because I see all these lights. Like the closer we got, I see all of these lights and we have to stop at where Carver School is because they won't let us, we can't drive any further up. And we get out of the car and literally have to run up. And I see people, I see all these ambulances and fire trucks and family because all of Raymond's family lived right there. And so I see his siblings and everybody. And then I see my mom in the middle and Aneka and I run, but we literally don't know what happened. But as we're walking, I look to the left and in the yard, I see a white sheet over a body. Well, I assume it's a body, of course. And I'm like, what in the world has happened? But we don't know. And so, Mama, tell us what happened.
Well, when I got there, it was trucks everywhere. They wouldn't let me go any further than in front of my house. I couldn't even go over to where it was. And I remember that somebody had said to me, I think Raymond is dead. And I said, and I started crying. Anyway, I think a cousin or his nephew had seen him when he passed because he went up in the air and came down and he didn't come back up.
My God.
So
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was still trying to, just before that happened, he was running out there to try to put the truck. The truck had caught fire. And he knew that if all that gas had gotten out, that's what I assumed it was.
It would have been an explosion.
Mhm.
So let's rewind. So what happened to cause that?
What happened? Oh, a drunk driver came back and hit the pole. And when he hit the pole just fell over. I assumed
With all the electrical wires.
Right. And it was on the back of the truck, that four-wheeler, not four-wheeler, that
The live wire
had
fell on the back of the truck, which caused the truck to catch on fire. And so the truck catches on fire, and Raymond comes outside to check on the truck.
Right.
And what happens to him?
When he put his hand on that truck, it just electrocuted him right then and there.
Wow.
So
I thought he stepped on a live wire.
He probably did. The wire and the truck handle.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know how to tell you exactly what
happened, but either way, he was electrocuted. And I just remember, like, oh my God, like it was just, because I'm telling you. So now, how long had you all been married?
About 13 years, I believe.
Wow. 13 years. And so if you knew Raymond was, Lord have mercy.
Never met a stranger.
Never met a stranger would say whatever he thought and loved to blow in your nose.
Yep.
Boy, I used to run.
If he met you and you were a male, your name was James.
That's right. That's right.
Everybody was named James. And what was the girl?
I don't know if it was Geraldine or
something like that.
I don't know, but he had a name for everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like, he never met a stranger. And he was just, because he was a truck driver. And so that's why he went to check on his truck, going out and stuff. And so I just remember at that moment thinking, like, Lord, my mom, it was just it was a hard time, but people were good. People were really good and supportive, his family around. Everybody was just really good and supportive. And it just, LaShawn said, good old Rain. Tasha said, Willie Green. That's it. That's exactly what he called James and Willie Green. And so, but he was such a comical person. Like, he'd have you laughing and just, and I just listened to Aneka tell stories because I had gotten a little older by now. But Aneka was in the house the longest with you all. And Aneka would tell, like, how he taught her how to cut grass and just the different things he taught her how to do.
How to drive the tractor.
Right. All of those things that he taught her to do. And so I just thought it amazing to tell the story, of Raymond, because he was really a great person. And so,
I miss him.
Yeah, just
and
his
he
funny.
loved June.
Yes, he did.
He called June on the road.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And so
we were together one day, went to the Waffle House, and we was in there. He kept talking to this man, calling him James, and the man wasn't really responding. So we got ready to go out, like, you know him? He was like, nah, I didn't know him.
That's just the kind of person he was.
Yeah,
he
was.
Never met a stranger. And I guess truck drivers, because they are interacting with people all the time, that they never meet strangers. And so that was the first time, not the first time that you had experienced something like that. But that was a hard moment for you.
Mhm.
Now, so that was 2006, and then around 2007, 2008, you go to the doctor. Take us there.
Okay. Yeah, I go to the doctor, and after she did her examination, she said to me, "You need to go to the doctor now because it does look like there's a lump on your left breast." So I had to go and find a doctor. Well, it happened. It so happened that UNC in Chapel Hill had some kind of program that people who had cancer, they can come on in and be treated or get a biopsy to see whether
It was really cancer.
right.
Mhm.
And that was one thing I remember that he told me they did a needle biopsy.
Mhm.
And he said to me that you don't have cancer, you don't need to worry about it. But when I got back to, because they had contacted a doctor in Henderson before I went to Chapel Hill, and they didn't respond to me. And so that's why I ended up at Chapel Hill. But after Chapel Hill, then I got kind of worried because I didn't know whether um, the cancer wasn't there when he did the
Needle biopsy.
biopsy. Uh-huh. And anyway, ended up another doctor took over in Henderson, and they started. Anyway, when they did the biopsy, they found out it was cancer this time, according to doctor.
So you had a biopsy in Chapel Hill. They told you it's not cancer. Don't worry about it. You come here, have a biopsy, and it is in fact cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the day finding out that you had cancer, and it was so scary to me because LaShawn had just lost her aunt to breast cancer. And it just tore my nerves up. And I remember calling LaShawn. She probably thought I was crazy, but I was just boohooing, crying because I just thought the end of cancer was the end of your life because that's what I had seen with Nisi. I didn't know, any other result because I hadn't known anybody that I can think of that had had cancer and survived. And so when I heard it, I just thought, oh my gosh. And so go ahead, you can finish telling your story.
No, you know,
Yeah.
But no, after then I ended up getting the biopsy. And after she told me about, I do have cancer. So in February of 2008, no, 2009, I might have missed something. They told me that I could have a lumpectomy rather than a full
mastectomy.
Mm-hmm. And so they did that, but it didn't. It didn't get to the margins. So I had to go back in April for another a lumpectomy, and this time it did fine. And but then they had sewn me up and all of that. But after then, as soon as they took the stitches out, the breast came loose, and then there's air hit it, and when air hit cancer, you can rest assured. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's what happened this time, and they didn't have any other choice but do the mastectomy, and that's what happened. But it ended up being a process of, although it was a lot of things to be done and that kind of thing, I came out of it okay. In fact, I came out of it fine.
Mm-hmm.
I did what I was told to do, and I did what I knew to do too, as far as making sure I had that green drink and those kinds of things, and
Your natural resources.
You're right. That's exactly.
I
right.
remember I took a leave of absence from work. Do you remember that? I took a leave of absence from work, and me and Chase were with you at the doctor's visits. You don't remember I remember Chase, because, but I remember because you might not remember this, but I remember he started walking. We have a video of this. He started walking in the doctor's office, and you had a watch that you kept trying to get him to come to you to get the watch. And he walked from me to you to get that watch. But I remember that when we were in the doctor's office, I remember it at that time. So
James was a trip.
something else. Yes, he was.
Oh,
And so the Lord, being just as good as he is, he literally, your end result was that he healed your body.
absolutely.
And so the miracle behind this is that most people that have surgery and all of that, they have to go through chemo or radiation.
Mhm.
Tell us your story.
No, I didn't have to go through any of that. In fact, when they found the cancer, it wasn't that far. Hadn't gone that far. It was 1 point something out. I can't remember now exactly what it was. And it was a blessing in disguise. God knows exactly what he's doing at all times if we just trust him.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
so my thing was to just trust him regardless of what. I hear Ayana say that a lot. I just gotta trust him. And so that was my thought too. I just gotta trust the Lord. Cancer is nothing that you play with. And so we need to do whatever we can to make sure we come out on top. And that was my thought about it all. I intend to fight this every step of the way.
Yep.
That is why I love my green drinks. When
she thinks she has an MD behind her name. I often get tickled because Tasha called you a doctor up here. I can't even share the comments. I'm gonna go forward and share them in a little bit. But I remember, so your story is just an amazing story. And God was just so good. He literally spared your life. And you didn't have to, though you did do the mastectomy, you did not have to go through the radiation, the chemo.
Mhm.
And how many years has it been now?
About almost 12, I think.
12 and 13. It's 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's been about 13 years.
Closer to 14.
Yeah, it is closer to 14, but it's 13, definitely 13 years that the Lord has literally kept you. And I measure that by Chase because he was almost 1 when these things were happening. And so, so it's been about 13 years. So that is a blessing.
It is.
Yeah.
God is a miracle worker. Yes, LaShawn, trust him through it all. And so I'm just so grateful for that. And so when I listen to your story, because it doesn't stop there. There are things that have happened, after that. Your grandchildren transition. That was a hard moment. And then from your grandchildren transitioning, then your mom, I feel like your dad happened in the before that.
Mm-hmm.
And then your mom transitions. And so, and I have to say something about my Aunt Linda because I just have to. And so she had cancer as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I don't know, the Lord does what he wants when he wants to because he is a sovereign God and that's who we serve. But on July, she transitioned from in August. That was July the 29th. Tasha, what is the date? I felt like it was July the
Good Friday. She said, no, that's
Granddaddy. Yeah. July 27th. I thought so. July 27th.
She might be talking about the funeral.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the funeral. Yeah. That she transitioned and such an amazing, amazing woman. And so, but the Lord had a plan for her as well. And so, though it wasn't what we desire, we just remember her on today and her family as well. Samika and Donna Ray and the grandkids, just keeping them in prayer through this season as well. Guys, that is my mom's story. And so
that's just the Reader's Digest version. Don't
it
get
is.
mixed up. Yes.
It is. And so we are so grateful that she came on today. Mommy, is there something else you want to say?
No, I'm fine.
See, you did so fine. You told your story. I told you I was going to help you. But we told your story.
That's exactly right. Y'all told my story.
We told your story. And so I'm so grateful, but it just shows that God is a healer. I know some people out there have got cancer diagnoses right now, and you're thinking that it could be the end, but God is just such a good God. And so it may not be the end of your story. God is the author and finisher of our faith. And we have to trust him. Like you said, I think that is the key thing through everything that you said. Not allow fear to consume you, but to trust God. Trust that he has a purpose and plan for your life. And it ain't over, not when the fat lady sings, but it ain't over until God says it's over. And so I just think that is something that we should take away.
And you have proof that the Bible says that every sickness is not unto death.
Every sickness is not unto death. That is good.
You know, for people who have gotten that diagnosis that they have cancer, don't automatically, you know, I know it's easier said than done,
right?
But try not to allow your mind to automatically go to that drastic place, because she's proof
that God will do it.
Yes.
That is good, June. That is good. Every sickness is not unto death. And that's something, you know, you have to repeat the scriptures. Talk back to God. Tell him, God, your word says that every sickness is not unto death. I shall live and not die and declare the work of the Lord. Those are things you just have to repeat on a daily basis for whatever state you find yourself in.
So anybody that know anybody that's struggling or dealing with that, and you have beat it, encourage somebody, because it make a world of difference.
It does. Absolutely. Before we get off tonight, I want to again say pray for families who are dealing with loss. There are so many families that are having to deal with burying a loved one at this time. And we know Christmas time, Thanksgiving, all of these holidays are hard. These are some people's first. And so we want to continue to pray for these families. There is a family who the Kearney family has to bury their 2 children on Thursday. And that is a hard thing. And so we want to make sure that we are praying for these families, all of the families that have lost, you know, prior to today. You know, we want to continue to keep them lifted in prayer, because these first can be extremely hard. And so one thing that I know, and I always tell people, you know, you make new memories. Don't forget, and you can't forget. But for some people, it may be harder to talk about their children. For us, we love to talk about ours. It helps us. And so to talk about your loved one, because it may not be your children, but it may be, you know, a spouse, a parent, you know, whoever it may be. For us, it's good to talk about it. The more you bottle stuff in, the harder it is. And I often liken it to the analogy of the soda can. You squeeze it and squeeze it. Eventually, what's inside is going to come out, and it's going to come out on places that it wasn't intended to come out on. So it's always good to talk about it if you can talk about it. I don't care if you just light a candle in memory of your loved one. Do something to honor their memory. Send a balloon, write a message on a balloon, things like that. Believe it or not, they just help you. You know, and so I just encourage you, journal. If you are a writer and you like to journal, write a letter, do something like that, just to help you make it through the moment. We take it moment by moment. And so that is just how you have to do it. But thank you so much for joining us on tonight. There is another Testimony Tuesday coming up next Tuesday. I'm excited about the young lady who will be joining us, Miss Regina. I think she's Evans now. She's going to join us and tell us about her miracle story. The fact that she is here today is a miracle. And so we're going to hear her story on next week. Thank you all for joining us. I'm going to pull this a little bit closer just so I can see some of these comments. I don't have my mouse, so I need my mouse on today. And so thank you all for joining us on tonight. Hey, Miss Christy, Tasha, and Kim. Tasha said, hello, mother. Hello, Miss Letha. She did it, Tasha. She did good. Hey, Miss Rosa. Hello, LaShawn. Hey, Miss Roslyn. Thank you all for joining us on tonight. Hey, Mama Gloria. Hey, Kenneth. Phyllis. Where's Phyllis supposed to be right now?
We're gonna talk about Phyllis. We have a conversation.
We are definitely going to have a conversation with Phyllis coming up real soon. How I'm sitting here trying to push these buttons, But anyway, but thank you all for joining us and listening to Mama's story. And her. Yes. Praise God. Absolutely, Phyllis. Praise God. Hey, Anaya. Look at there. Tasha said your testimony gives her hope, Mama, and that you are proof. Miss Rosa says been 22 years for her dad when they told him he only had 6 months to live. Look at God.
I'm telling you.
Look at God. Miss Rosa, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
He's still working miracles. And I think sometimes when people see things and it doesn't go their way, sometimes you can doubt God or doubt that God is really able, but you got to know that he really is able. And it's testimonies like this, testimonies like the one you just shared about your dad, that show. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Facetia. Yes. We love you too, LaShawn. Hey, Miss Bobby. Hey, Angela. Thank you for listening. Hey, Miss Ruth. LaShawn said, leave Phyllis alone. Hey, Angela. I got 2 Angelas up here on tonight. Amen. Thank you all for watching us. Join us next week, same time for Testimony Tuesday. God bless each one of you all. And if you know of someone that is in need, that has had a fire or something catastrophic to happen in their lives, please reach out to the Bridge Chase Foundation. We are here to assist. We love you guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.